gosh, it's good to be here. Thank you so much for Patty for the invitation, and John too for hooking it up always. And it's always a delight to be here with you. This is such a beautiful and authentic spiritual community. And I am just marveling at how I've written a talk to support everything that's already been said. And it's nice when there's harmony like that. I think we were communicating on the inner planes about this talk. So the talk for today is Take Back Your Power. And, you know, this is a very good contemporary spiritual issue about power and how we use it and how we give it away. And yet it's something that I hadn't really thought about for a while, but something brought it up for me, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Well, a few minutes. But what I'd like you to do right now, if you would, is to, if you want to close your eyes, we're going to do a visualization, and if you don't want to close your eyes, that's okay too. And feel free to open them anytime that you wish. I invite you to imagine that you're journeying up to a mountaintop. And the day is beautiful, it's fresh after the rain, it's a day like today. The sun is shining, it's warm but not too hot. There's a nice breeze, and the path is good. See surroundings that are beautiful as you love to see them. And you begin the climb, winding up the mountainside. The effort feels good. There's no struggle. It's invigorating. And periodically you come to vista points where you pause to look out and survey the world below as it becomes at different heights, smaller and smaller. And allow yourself to feel with each rise in elevation that the weight and the pull of the world is loosening its hold. Letting go of the contemplations and challenges and the things that occupy you in your personal life. Releasing gently all that you know about what's going on the planet at this time. And as you keep moving higher and higher, allow these things to begin to fall away. As you keep coming to a higher place that is both physical and metaphysical. With each step higher, letting the world recede, and as it does, coming more and more into the essential truth of who you are, just as you are. As a unique being, individualized, nothing broken, nothing missing, feeling increasingly freed from the definitions of the world in which you live down below. And just take a moment to breathe, to feel what it would feel like and what it does feel like in your contemplation now as you make a climb and stand at a high place of seeing. And so feel yourself arriving at the mountaintop, the highest place physically, but let it be also the highest place spiritually. As you stand in the I am realization that Paul spoke of so beautifully. As you stand in your essential beingness, looking out on the world below. And I invite you to feel maybe more than ever before what you have been created by. That you have been created by life, by spirit, by God, however it is that you name it. For surely the one has taken on form as you. But also feel what you have been created as. That you have been created as life, as spirit, as God. For you are the one in unique expression. And all that the one is embodied in and as you. And just take a moment to consider how miraculous it is that you are one of the creatures on the planet who has awakened and become conscious enough to actually contemplate what it has been created by and also created as. And then in this room, we're a bunch of those creatures. And yet there are other creatures on the planet for whom this has never happened yet. And how marvelous it is that our planet is the place that we come to this realization, and we call it our divine identity. And for me, this realization is what the spiritual path is all about. I think the spiritual path has been about this through all the eons of time, through the ancient and esoteric teachings, through the evolution of spirit and religion, to right now. And so as you stand at this high place, I invite you to open to some other realizations. That first of all, there's only one thing going on, and it's spirit. That you are not a human being having a human experience. You are not a human being having a spiritual experience. You are not a spiritual being having a human experience. You are a spiritual being having a spiritual experience right here on planet Earth. And from this high place, I invite you to know that the good of life has already been given. The good of life has already been given. So say this with me. The good of life has already been given, and it is mine to receive and to live. Let's say that 2 more times. The good of life has already been given, and it is mine to receive and to live. And 1 more time, all together now. The good of life has already been given, and it is mine to receive and live. And so take a nice deep breath and open your eyes. So there's a wonderful teaching that says, "Fear not, little flock. It is God's good pleasure. It is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." I love that, "fear not, little flock." Kind of sweet, right? Fear not, little flock. It is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And of course, then there's that stunning response of Ernest Holmes to this, and he says, if it is God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, who knows the rest of it? We should have the sense to receive it. Indeed. Very good. Gold star. If it is God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, we should have sense enough to receive it. And there's this beautiful promise that says, I am come that they might have life and have it more abundantly. I am come that they might have life and have it more abundantly. And the I in the I am is this mountaintop realization that we just went to in that meditation. It is the realization of our divine identity. The truth of our identity has come into human consciousness at this time and in other times before, so that we might have life and have it abundantly. I'll say that again. This realization of the truth of our divinity, what we have been created by and what we have been created as, has come into human consciousness so that we might have life and have it more abundantly. People say, I know who and whose I am. That's really a nice phrase, isn't it? Speaking spiritually. I know who I am, divine truth of being. I know whose I am. I am spirit's. I am thine, the divine. So that means that all power is given unto us. And here's another affirmation. All power has been given unto us to be, to live, to express, to love, to create, to influence, to contribute. What verb would you like? To dance. Mary Ann. So say this with me. All power has been given to me. To be, to love, to express, to receive, to give, to create, to influence, to contribute, to dance. But the only thing that keeps us from doing this fully is that we give our power away. That we give our power away to lesser things that do not support and enhance the divine truth of our being, or am I the only one? We give our power away. We have been given all power in heaven and earth, in the spiritual dimension of our being, and in many ways we fritter that power away. So we're here today to start taking back our power. And as I said, this is a good spiritual topic. And I love Carolyn Mace's teaching about this, by the way. She says that, and I can see the little drawing in my mind that she has in one of her books. She says that every day we receive 100% of our life energy through the tops of our heads. So if you could just imagine cosmic infinite energy, flowing through your head now and into the top of your head, and it begins to distribute itself through your physical being. And so the life energy fires your mind, it strengthens and empowers your heart, it moves your body, it digests your food, it keeps everything about your physical beingness going. And so we use up a fair amount of energy every day just in that. But we also use power and energy according to how we invest our power and our energy in life. I'm investing energy right now in talking to you, and you are investing energy right now in listening to me, and we all invested energy in getting here today. And I feel added unto by this. This is a good energy investment for me. How about you? Well, I hope you don't have to answer, but I accept you have a yes about that. And yet there are energy investments that we do that are not productive. We invest our energy sometimes in things that do not speak to the divine truth of our being and that actually take from us and take from the good effect that we can have in life. And Carolyn Mace calls these energy leaks. I like that. I think that's nicely descriptive. When we get stuck in fear, when we participate endlessly in judgment of ourselves or other people, when we fall into sorrow all of the time, when we get stuck in hard attitudes, when we engage in repetitive behaviors that do not support us, when we are attached to the woundings of our past and we don't seem to be able to get out of it, all of these things take energy. All of these things, in a way, are energy leaks because they're based on a non-truth of who we are. They're based on some sense of self that is not whole and complete and spiritual. So we have been endowed with all power in heaven and earth in the spiritual dimension of our being, and sometimes we fritter that energy away. And it's really just the opportunity for each one of us to look at that ourselves. No inventorying your mate right now. So I said that I hadn't really thought about this spiritual topic for a little bit, and yet I was surprised to be teaching Emma Curtis Hopkins' book, High Mysticism, which she wrote. It was some of her later teachings. And Emma, if you're not familiar with her, although if you hang around me, you will be, Emma was writing first in the 1880s, and this book was written between 1907 and 1920. And what amazed me in reading chapter 10 of her book, and by the way, I didn't finish the sentence I started, did I? Emma is way down lineage for us. I'd like to think of her as our great-grandmother in our teaching, and she was Ernest Holmes, our founder, was her last student. So there's lots of science of mind that is filled with Emma's teachings. But I started teaching chapter 10, and Emma says that 10 is the number of light, and it is the number that calls us to our native majesty. And she says that the key speech, in other words, the key communication from the hidden light within us is this: I am spirit, I change not, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Let's say that together. I am spirit, I change not, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. And one more time, I am spirit, I change not, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. And so that's the mystical truth of us. And the book is called High Mysticism. And boy, is it. Because it's all about oneness and about our divine identity. And so this is the mystical truth of us, but we give our power away. And Emma identifies, surprise, surprise to me, some of the things that we give our power away to. The 3 Ds: death, deficiency, and debt. Death, the belief that life ends. Deficiency, I'm not enough. Debt, I owe or I am owed. Death, deficiency, debt, and any of your personal permutations of those things. She also says that we give our power away to, I love her language, slumbering traits that when loosed run away with us. I'll let you figure out your own slumbering traits. I'm looking at mine. Slumbering traits that when loosed run away with us. We give our power away to that. She says we give them power to ruin our happiness or augment it. We give them power to ruin our happiness or to augment it. When we rely on certain things for our joy, that's also giving our power away. And then she says this, and this is what caught my attention. Notice the power we give to people to hurt our feelings. I was in a time like that, so that one was like, whoa. Notice the power we give to people to hurt our feelings. We are now taught to take back the power we have given them to hurt our feelings and to start over again, putting something to work for us. And this is a really interesting concept. The Zen Buddhists say it this way, in the metaphor of a plant that has weeds growing around it, so that's us growing into fullness, but we have these things that we need to deal with. The Zen Buddhists say, pull the weeds and plant them at the base of the plant to nourish it. And when we discover, in other words, that we have given our power away, we can take that power back and start using that power in some new way that begins to affirm that mountaintop realization that that which God is, I am, that there is good for me and I ought to have it, that all power has been given unto me. We can take the power that we have given away back and use it in some way that builds something new for us. She says, now we know to take back the power we have given to our emotions to capsize our peace of mind with grief or fear or joy, and to start them over again with new working efficiency. The point of this talk and the invitation here is first of all to do something for the sake of us living the highest truth of our being. And to be willing to take an inventory, not someone else's, just your own, to take an inventory and to look at where in your life you have given your power away. And to what have you given it to? To what have you given it? To what have you given it? Where are the power leaks in your life? Carolyn May says we send our power, our energy on foreign assignments. I like that. So where are the foreign assignments? What are the foreign assignments you've sent your power on in a way that is not doing you or anyone else any good? Have you given your power away to some kind of laziness or hanging back? Have you given your power away to practicing accusations against yourself or other people? Have you given your power away to lack of self-confidence or comparison? That's one of my favorite miserable ones. And just really asking the question and beginning to look, where are my energy leaks? Where is my power going? What have I given my power away to that does not serve me? Just asking the question, something starts to change, because awareness is curative. Just bringing awareness to the issue is a really powerful thing to do, and you will begin to make changes around that. And what's interesting to contemplate is, what is the thought that you have about yourself that makes you give your power away? Whatever it isn't the truth. Whatever it is not the truth from that high mountain place where you stand in the realization of what created you and what you have been created as. Because there is nothing that is in any way diminished. And I think part of our path is to realize that we rise free. In the spiritual dimension of our being, we rise free of all of the things that have taken place in our life that would have us believe something other than that we are whole and beautiful and complete and powerful, and that there is good for us and we ought to have it. So Emma says, call back the power. Take back your power. In other words, to the high truth of being. She calls it our hidden super self. That's a pretty contemporary phrase for 1907, huh? And to remember that mountaintop realization and say with me now, I am the living presence of the living God. And let's do that 2 more times. I am the living presence of the living God. And once more, I am the living presence of the living God. Emma says, let us start over again at the deep truth of who we are and hear and speak it forth until the earth shall hear and repeat the anthem. Till the earth shall hear and repeat the anthem. She says, look to the rock from whence you are hewn. In other words, know what cloth you're cut from. Know what it is that is the essence and truth of your being. Know who created you and what you're created by. And look to that. And stand in the center. On the integrity rock is the phrase that she uses. The integrity rock of your very own being. And so I invite you to close your eyes again. I'm going to take you back down the mountain now. So just come back to that place of standing high on the mountain on this beautiful day, blue sky and white clouds, warm sun, light breeze, in this full realization that I have been created by the One, and I have been created as the One, and all power is given unto me in heaven and earth to be and to love and to live, to create, to influence, to enjoy. Carrying this realization deeply in your heart, see yourself making the journey down the mountain. It's always easier to go down, isn't it? And so imagine that you've completed the journey, that you're back here in your life, and see yourself standing someplace in your life, the place of your choosing, in your home, in a relationship, in an activity, in your business. See yourself standing there, tall and strong and proud, and know that in about a 2-inch diameter circle around your feet, under your feet, is your holy ground. It is your patch of God that is yours and yours alone. And that in your place, in this place, there is only wholeness. In this place, there is only the divine truth of your being. In this place, there is no past. In this place, there is no future, nothing to effort out or struggle with. Only the now moment and each successive now moment of your wholeness, your peace, your power, your beauty, and your joy. In each and every moment of now, you are whole, you are free, you are love. The good of life has already been given. It is yours for the receiving. All power has been given unto you to live, and to live abundantly. And so I give thanks for this realization today, for the journey up the mountain and back into life. And I accept that we each, in our own way, carry this realization wherever we are. That no matter what is taking place around us, we know that which is taking place within us. And it is spirit, and it is life, it is power, and it is good. And so I give thanks for this right now. I release this word. I know it is done. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Thank you.